Hey y'all, Chattel Red, the grown-ass teenager here. My last video, we got into solitary confinement a little bit. So this video, we're going to get into it a little bit more. So let's watch the video first, and then we're going to get into it.
Welcome to your cell. You're going to be here for 23 hours a day.
23 hours a day.
You can be sent to solitary for
disobeying a direct order.
106.10.
Fighting is 90 days extra. Yelling too loud.
Somebody's labeled a gang member.
any kind of drugs.
Looking at a correction officer. Just looking at him.
Having too many rolls of toilet paper is 90 days extra.
Too many postage stamps.
Eating all of your food.
It is not uncommon to find somebody who's sentenced to a year and then ends up with 5, 6, 7 years in a bottle.
After a while, things start to slip.
I find myself floating.
As a psychologist, I can tell you that you are going to undergo many different kinds of reactions, and some of them will be more immediate than others.
You know, you see like the paint on the wall. That paint probably been there maybe 50 years before I got there. So you start seeing figurines.
You know, you think you hear them calling you from the officer station.
The toilet that drips because it sweats and it hits the floor. Stupid.
People turn on themselves.
They want to treat us like animals. We might as well act like animals.
There are high rates of suicide and self-harm.
People understand is violence. All they understand is a violent reaction. And you can't have no diplomacy with this institution.
I do not miss that.
There are physical and physiological consequences of being deprived of human social contact, so that people's brainwave patterns are altered, and certainly people who are in these environments for many months or years on end have to change and transform who they are, and so they're damaged.
You know what? I could see that. I could see people being damaged from being in there, because you do have to change who you are. You have to make yourself okay with being alone. I'm a loner, but I don't think I could do that. Like, forced to be by myself. Like, it's not a choice. Not only are you by yourself, you're stuck in a little box, like the size of a nice sized bathroom. And you're forced to stay like that for weeks or months or years sometime. Because like he said, it's not uncommon for somebody to be sentenced to a year and leave with 7 years box time old. And I say old because we can't hold you in there for that. But if you ever get locked up again, you owe that. You owe that. Every time you get locked up, you're going straight to the box. You can't call, you can't talk to your peoples because you don't get no phone time. You don't have no type of human contact unless the officers take you to the shower or bringing you a tray of nasty food. Small portioned nasty food. So you in there losing weight, you're malnutritioned because you're eating small portions that your body's not used to. So, you know, that's all it takes for you to lose weight. You're putting your body in a caloric deficit, not on purpose, because they don't let you go to commissary. So, you know, the other inmates, they don't get big portions, but they get commissary. So they make up. If they people just showing them love and sending them money, they get to eat. If you're in the box, you're not getting no money. You're not making no phone calls. You're not going to commissary. You're not doing none of that. You're getting those small portions, and it's nasty, and that's all you're getting. About the rules, there is a lot of petty rules. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I brought down the inmate rule book. I still have mine. All right, so my name was on there. I scratched my name off, but this is it, the inmate rule book. Everybody who comes to jail gets one of these, especially in the 6th building. It's a big thing because in the 6th building, they have good time for us to take away. Because when you get an infraction and you go to the box, you also lose good time. Refusal to obey a direct order. That's anything that I tell you to do. Do it. If you don't do it, then you refusing to obey a direct order, and I'm writing you up, and I can send you to the box for that. So yes, they do have a lot of petty crimes in here, but that's just like the real world, just like jaywalking, loitering, and about the self-harm. I could see a lot of people do self-harm themselves in there because it works on your mental, so you're experiencing things that you've never experienced before, because who lives like that? You know what I mean? And who's okay with living like that? Nobody. I do have another video. It's a documentary that I did a video on called Rikers Island, an American jail. I'm going to link it right here, down here. I'm going to put it, not link it. I'm going to put it down here for you. And actually, yes, I will link it in the comments for y'all. Let me say the difference between punitive segregation and solitary confinement. Because on Rikers Island, we don't have solitary confinement. We have punitive segregation. The solitary confinement is 23-1. You're locked in 23 hours a day, 1 hour out. Sometimes you don't even get that hour out. Punitive segregation, you're not locked in no 23 hours. You're locked in the cell most of the time, but it sure ain't 23 hours. You getting services and all that. In solitary confinement, they're not getting no type of services, religious services, commissary. They're not getting none of that. All they're getting is medical care in court, medication if they need that, and a shower. And the shower is not every day. In punitive segregation, they're getting all those type of services. They're not missing out on anything. All they're doing is being locked in. In the regular housing areas, in the dorms are just beds and lockers, So everybody's out. In the cell area, they have option to come out every so often. Sometimes it's every hour, sometimes it's every 2 hours. The officers run what they call options. Your option to come out or stay in. Solitary confinement, you don't have that option. I myself have put people in the box. I've exaggerated charges on niggas. Yeah. Let me give y'all an example, right? This one guy, he was like, damn. Like when I walked by, it was in a sexual manner. He was like, damn. Like that. So I don't allow that. I'm not here for your entertainment. Period. So I checks those automatically. So I roll him up. Now, when I roll him up, I threw a little extra in there, how he grabbed his was like, God damn, you got a fat ass. So I threw in the extra, you got a fat ass, and I threw in him grabbing himself. Yeah. 90 days in the box for that one. Now, about all that banging, that banging and that yelling and that screaming all day, non-stop. And I guess you really have nothing else to do in there. But it comes to a point where you block it out. You don't even hear it no more. For real, you don't smell the smells no more, and you don't hear the noise no more. It's just like regular. Probably how medical staff, like when you go into a hospital and you be like, yo, it smell like hospital. You know that hospital smell? It probably don't smell like nothing to them because they're used to it now. They're immune to it. And that's how it is in jail. When you work in jail, you get immune to all the smells and noises. Somebody just coming in, like when the new recruits come in and they walking through, they like, dang, this what they do all day? And you like, it is noisy in here, huh? They like bring you back to it. Now let me tell y'all why you need the box or some form of, if it's not going to be solitary confinement or punitive segregation, you need some type of punishment. Because imagine just living in a lawless world, right? Imagine being out in the street where they're not putting people in jail for crimes. I mean, that's kind of happening right now. For real. But you see how it causes chaos. So that's what's going on in the jails right now. Because now that they've taken away the punitive segregation and the solitary confinement, there's no punishment. Now, what happens when you commit a crime? If you're a thief and there's no repercussions for your actions, you're going to keep stealing. If you're a rapist, if you're a murderer, if you're doing any type of crime and there's no repercussions for your actions, you're going to continue doing that crime. So just like you do a crime on the street and you go to jail, if you do a crime in the jail, you should have some type of punishment. And that's what solitary confinement and punitive segregation was. It's just a jail inside the jail to show you that you cannot break the rules. You can't be in here committing crimes. Although you're a criminal, we're trying to rehabilitate you. That box is not a rehabilitation tool. It will drive you crazy. Like they have to come into a medium somewhere. Something has to be done because now officers are getting assaulted like nothing. It's crazy. I have so many videos of officers getting assaulted. That's all I got to say about that, lady y'all.